Ladies and gentlemen, I am back. It's good to be back after a while. Things have changed a lot since the last time we met. Unfortunately, the world is in a better place after the horrendous pandemic. But as I've always said, that in this era of individualism based on various classification and attainments, I advocate for unity, harmony, love, cooperation, and mutual respect. Today is no exception. Today we are in support of Bangladesh, in support of our Bangladeshi candidates in the Bar Representation Committee election of 2021 of the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn. I'll be introducing them shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your very own Barrister Faisal Mahmood Onabil. Unfortunately, I'm an advocate of the District and Session Judge Code Dhaka. As always, I'm an internationally accredited mediator for Radio Rodier International UK, and I have been a senior associate for Liberty Chambers. This show is organized by Legal Voice Foundation and in association with Lincoln's Inn Members Association of Bangladesh, with sponsored by BRICS Global and supported by Justiciars, the Legal Solutions, and Ghazi Law Associates. Today, this episode is particularly focused on the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn's Bar Representation Committee election of 2021. Allow me to give a brief introduction of Legal Voice Foundation. Legal Voice Foundation is voice of the people. This organization is dedicated to professional and leadership skill development of people through raising public awareness to make informed citizens. Legal Voice Foundation works for the following objectives, such as to ensure fundamental principles of state policy, fundamental rights of the citizen, granted in the Constitution. Technical support, can I kindly please ask you to mute everyone else apart from me, if that's possible? Thank you very much. And these are protected and from any kind of direct or indirect violation. And secondly, to work for the welfare and development of the stakeholders in this legal fraternity of ours. It is also pertinent to give a brief introduction of the Lincoln's Inn Members Association of Bangladesh as well. This is also a non-political, all-inclusive organization promoting harmony, unity, and brotherhood among the member of the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn, with a view to promoting the standard, honor, and rigor that is expected of a barrister member of the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn. At this particular point, allow me to give a short introduction for our new viewers as to the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn. The Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn is one of the 4 inns which the students must join prior to commencing the course to become a barrister in the England and Wales. This is one of the first steps that you take in your career at the bar. A total of 12 sessions is required to be attended at the inn to be called as the barrister of England and Wales after the successful completion of the educational and vocational component with the designated providers. The inn have always played a key role in training of its student members. For many, the focus will always be obtaining qualifying sessions prior to being called to the bar. Additionally, the inn organizes various activities throughout the year designed to build experience and improved understanding of the life at the bar. Without further ado, it is our privilege to have 3 esteemed guests with us today who are all of them are barristers of the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn, and they will be introducing themselves shortly. Can I ask everyone to mute themselves? Mr. Tonmoy, kindly please. Thank you very much. All these guests are here are Bangladeshi candidates at the Lincoln's Inn Bar Representation Committee election of 2021 in the category of members with no current practicing certificate of England and Wales. Now, without further ado, if I may kindly ask one of our guests to introduce himself, we will start with Mr. Tonmoy. Could you kindly please introduce yourself?
Assalamu alaikum. Hello. Tonmoy is my nickname. My main name is Monjure Morshed. I'm Barrister Monjure Morshed. I'm an advocate of the District and Sessions Court, Dhaka. I'm also working as an associate of Stellar Chambers. I'm also an accredited civil commercial mediator of Radio Rodier International UK. And currently, I'm a candidate of the Bar Representation Committee election 2021.
Thank you very much for joining with us. Ms. Azizi, if you'd kindly introduce yourself, please. You have to unmute yourself,
Yes.
and I'd like to request after speaking, please mute yourself because we are going with the speaker view. It would be easier to maneuver. Thank you. Right, Ms. Azizi, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Atia Aman Azizi. I was called to the Bar of England and Wales in 2017 by Linclon, of course. And I did my bar professional training course from Cardiff University. Right now, I'm serving National Bank Limited as their principal officer, working at the legal division, law and recovery division, to be more specific, and also serving as a part-time faculty for Leeds Trinity University for their international program at BAC International Study Center.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Affan, if you kindly introduce yourself for us and the viewers today. You have to unmute yourself kindly. Thank you.
Good morning, my fellow candidates and hosts. Thank you for inviting me. So currently I'm working with Tanju Balaman Associates. I'm an advocate and barrister. I've completed my bar in 2017. And now it's been 2 years I'm working with Tanju Balaman Associates and trying to serve the best I could do for the country. That's it. And now I'm running for the election of Bar Representative Committee 2021 election.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's great to have all of you with us today. And a very interesting thing that I've just noticed that all of us, perhaps including me as well, we have been called to the bar in 2017. Mine was July 2017, and my session was 16-17 as well. So yeah, it's great to have all of you here. Now, without further ado, let us get right into the point. Now, I will try to cover up a few points as I've previously mentioned, and I would try to come at every one of you on a rotation basis, not in a particular order. So if I may start with Ms. Azizi, could you please tell us your aspiration to participate in this election? It has never been that popular here, particularly for Bangladesh, and we have seen a magnanimous campaign previously by the previous candidate. So what has actually inspired you to actually decide to participate this time? Ms. Azizi.
Right. The thing is, obviously, when last year Barrister Rifat Rahman got elected, it was an eye-opener. Until that point, at least for me, I always thought that it wasn't possible for Bangladeshi barristers to get elected because the amount of votes we need, the amount of support we need, probably it won't be sufficient for us. But also, there was another reason that I thought that I should give it a try was because after seeing Barrister Rifat Rahman getting elected, I gave it a thought and I realized that getting called to the bar should not be the end of our journey with Lincoln. It should rather be the opposite. At least that's how it goes for barristers practicing in England and Wales. So in order to create that environment for Bangladeshi barristers as well, that is, in order to make sure that we also stay in connection with the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn and continue our further education and help ourselves develop further skills with the support of this inn, it is only possible if we could have more representatives from our country, which is why I thought it was a good idea to at least try and participate and contest. The results are uncertain, of course. I'm not saying that it's still possible for another person to win from Bangladesh because we still don't know how much votes we have got, but at least giving it a try should be a good start.
Right. Thank you very much. Certainly, the last campaign actually paved the way and actually was an eye-opener for a lot of us and a clear example of what we can do. Mr. Affan, if we can hear your aspirations or your reasoning behind participation. And we have been told that you're far away on a different continent as well at the moment.
Yes, sir. So to be honest, when I first saw the link of election committee, I thought, what's the point of being a member of Lincoln's Inn when we just pass and do nothing with inns. Then I realized that when last year Mr. Rifat got elected, I thought like same as what Apia would say, that we should have more people in the committee so as to present our recent candidates, our recent bar members, or the previous bar member who has completed their bar and a member of Lincoln's Inn, so that we can put forward our views as Bangladeshi in front of Lincoln's Inn, so that we could assist, help the members, upcoming members, and the members who enrolled before, help them to ensure their opinion is put forward in front of Lincoln Inn and they could achieve what they want. Any assistance they could get from Lincoln's Inn that is served how it should be served by the help of the committee members. So if Bangladeshi are put forward in the committee are said, they would actually make the changes and do what is necessary for the candidates or for the members of Bangladesh.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. These are very strong reasons from both of the candidates so far. Mr. Morshed, if we can hear your reasoning behind participation.
Thank you, Honorable, for giving the opportunity. I studied my BPTC at BP University Holborn campus, which was very close to the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn. So I used to spend a lot of my time at the Lincoln's Inn premises, in the library, and I used to spend a lot of times in the ground, looking at the historical buildings of the Lincoln's Inn. So after getting my call to the bar in 2017, I was always looking for an opportunity to get involved in some capacity with the inn. Then, as Afan and Atia said, last year, Barrister Rifat Rahman, a friend of mine, got elected in the bar representative committee election, and I found this a very lucrative opportunity to get involved with the inn. And I also found that it will not only serve my personal interest of getting back to the Lincoln's Inn life, I will also have an opportunity to become a voice of those barristers who are underrepresented, those barristers who are not who stay in overseas. Because I after getting my call to the bar in 2017, I didn't find a lot of opportunities, didn't find, I think, any opportunity to get involved with my inn. So that's why I am taking part in this election, not only to become a part of Lincoln's Inn, but also to become a bridge between the inn and the members who are staying in overseas.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Now, one of the conundrums of being a host everywhere is to be able to actually be compelled to actually ask the guests to actually shorten their answers a little for their betterment as well, but that makes us the villain. I will try to cover a lot of other points as well, so it would be a kind request from us to keep your answer precise and relevant kindly. But for this particular answer, I have actually wanted to hear all these amazing reasons behind this campaign. Certainly we lead a very difficult life, a very busy life particularly, which is very common at this part of our career. With that, running a campaign as heavy as this one certainly took a lot of effort from all of your part, which certainly deserve a lot of commemorations from my part as well. Now, before going into further deeper details as far as this particular election is concerned, if I may ask Mr. Affan, tell us about this election. When is it and what is the post that you're running for? You have to unmute yourself, Mr. Affan. Sorry, perhaps. Sorry.
So this is a Lincoln's Inn Bar Representative Committee election for members. And the election would end on 10th of November, 2021. And I'm running as well among the other 29 candidates. We have 29 candidates, right? So including me, there are 29. There are 28 other candidates from overseas. And this is a bar representative committee so far, I believe.
Right, that's great. Mr. Morshed, could you please tell us about the voting process?
On 27th of October, the Civic Election Services, or CS in short, they sent an email to the members of the hall who have registered their email address with the IN. Inside the email, they will find a link to vote. And after logging in to vote, I think there are 4 categories. I am a candidate of under the category of member with no current practicing certificate in England and Wales. You can cast a single vote, you can give a single vote, or you can also set a chronology of votes. After choosing your preferred candidates, you just submit, just go to the next page and submit your vote, and that's all. It's a very easy process to vote.
Right, that's fantastic. Ms. Azizi, anything you'd like to add to the voting process or about the election that has not been covered by both the candidates?
I think Pastor Moser has already detailed it out very well. However, I would like to add one point. Actually,
Yeah.
I want to make one request to everyone that it would be great if everyone could vote for all 3 of us, placing the preferred candidate as their first choice and then setting the others as second and third. It's because for preferential voting system, even your second preference matters. If the person of your first preference gets eliminated, then the person of your second choice gets 1 vote from your side, right? So even if you're not putting me as your first preference, please do put me as your second or third preference, because even that can help. At the end of the day, what we want is that at least someone from Bangladesh should be able to represent, right? That's why please vote for all 3 of us.
Right, that is a very valid point. Yeah, I was going to go to Mr. Affan. Anything else that you'd like to add? Because my question to you was particularly focused. So anything you'd like to add? Because as far as the election is concerned, it's common and it's basically pertinent information for barristers around the globe to vote for you. Anything you'd like to add?
I had few queries, and I was messaged by a few of my barrister colleagues that I personally missed few votes because a lot of people thought I'm Pakistani, so a lot of people did not vote me. So it doesn't matter that I did not receive those votes, but what it matters, like Atiafu said, we actually need the preferential votes, not only to win, but to show that, okay, we are preferred to go into that position and to get the position and push forward our views. So to others and to everybody who are still yet to vote, I request, please vote all 3 of us. Doesn't matter who is your preference.
That is actually a very, very, very interesting point. Now, barristers around the globe, it is an earnest request on my part that we have been taught and we have been blessed with the opportunity of being exposed through this rigorous and significant amount of learning during the bar. So let us show that requisite amount of modernity so that we choose our candidate based on their mandate, their preferences, their promises, not based on their ethnicity, nationality, or any other things. Certainly that would count as discrimination per se. We will be covering their mandates in details, and it is my request, you don't look at the face, you don't look at the biological details, you don't look at nationality, you look at what they promise us to do.
Indeed.
Now, if I may go back to Mr. Morshed, now, could you please tell us why do you think that Lincoln's Inn is very important even after the bar for barristers around the globe?
Because the main work that Linclon does is it works with the training and education of the student members of the Inn, as well as those who are practicing barristers. So Lincoln's Inn is very important for us because of the training. But the problem with the overseas barristers are that because we stay in overseas, we do not get those training that Lincoln's Inn has to offer. That's why one of my aim is to, if I get elected in the election, I will try my best to present it before the Inn to organize training events outside.
We will cover.
Linclon
We will
City
cover
overseas.
your. We'll cover your
Okay.
detailed manifesto. We have particular. We have allocated a segment for that.
Okay.
Right. Now, moving on to Ms. Azizi, if we can ask you that. Now, this is a bit of a personal question on my part as well. Now, you see, the glory fades away, and apart from this, these glorious mementos, such as the tie that I'm wearing right now, what exactly can the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn offer us? For example, someone sitting about 8,000 miles away, 4 years or 5 years after the bar.
Right, thank you. Firstly, I think it is offering us with a huge network, which we haven't been utilizing properly until this point. But now, if we do get our own representatives from our country to serve our interest, I think we also can get benefited from that network. There are people who can offer us with further job opportunities, something I'm going to discuss in further detail when we will be discussing the manifesto part. But for now, what I can say that if we can become part of that larger network, we can become part of jobs which are actually beyond our borders. So we can go further, we can work beyond our borders, we can represent the name of our nation at a larger scale, in an international scale. And I think that support can be provided by the inn if we know how to utilize it.
Thank you. Thank you. That is indeed a very interesting point as far as what the Lincoln's Inn can offer, which is often overlooked by the practicing biases in various other parts of the world. Mr. Afan, if I can kindly go to you and ask you that Lincoln's Inn originally, and it has always been a very an esteemed institution with a lot of heritage and importance. Now, if you'd like to enlighten us about that, because although we have been focused on the election very recently, but it has been a very integral part of Lincoln's Inn for years now. So if you'd like to enlighten us about the heritage and importance of Lincoln's Inn and the election process per se, this particular one.
So Lincoln's Inn is one of the oldest inn in the history. A lot of historical leaders are a member of Lincoln's Inn, including Mr. Bhuttu, who is from Asia. And if you could see the Lincoln's Inn manifesto, Lincoln's Inn's work, they have investment process, financing. Also, they have education and scholarships. So they have many things to offer to the members of the inns. So this creates a lot of importance among the other inns, because all the inns does not provide or does not offer the same as Lincoln's Inn. So to me, for the members to elect, what requires most is the unity among the members of the inns. Also, like Mr. Morshed said, training. So more professional training services that Lincoln's Inn could offer to us. They have a lot of professional training services that we do not give offered. So if we put forward in that position, definitely we could help others who are not rich to do these professional services, to complete the services and serve in a better way.
This is particularly the reason I like these events so much, because this actually is enlightening to me particularly, and to actually aspiring barristers, law students, and even current barristers, or even people who are currently in the UK practicing, or in the UK studying for the bar. These are information that often we overlook due to the pressure of the vocational and the educational component of the bar, and unfortunately, when you get to know this, it's too little too late. But now that due to this election campaign over the last few years, it's great that all these are coming into light. I've just realized that I might as well sounded a bit hypocrite, because I started off saying that we are here for Bangladesh, we are supporting Bangladesh. Now, certainly we stick to that, and I believe it's my duty to support my country whenever it's doing something right and the candidates therein. But when it comes to saying, when it comes to standing against any discrimination or any parochial preferences, that has been a very fundamental principle of Legal Voice Foundation, Lincoln's Inn Members Association, and any other association or activities that I've been a part of. Now, that being said, without further ado, or without covering the other side questions, I would like to get right into the famous election manifesto. Now, this word or this election manifesto, this has been crucial in a number of elections in other aspects around the world. If we may kindly go to Mr. Morshed to start off with your manifesto in details. I had to cut you off in your previous answer. I'm sorry for that. Now is your chance. Unmute yourself first. Yes.
Okay. My main aim is to become a bridge between the in and the barristers overseas. What I'm trying to say is that when we are at the in UK, we have dining opportunities, we have the facilities of the library, and especially in the dining events, we have the opportunity to socialize and network. If I get elected, what I will try to do is that I'll try to convince the representation committee. I want to add this, that one of the members, at least one of the members will sit in the benchers committee, which actually decide everything about the inn. So if I get elected, I will try to convince those who run the inn to at least organize a dining event in countries like Bangladesh, so that we can have the opportunity to socialize and network with the other barristers of the Honorable Society of Linclon Inn, as well as I will also try to convince them to arrange different training opportunities in the overseas countries where most of the barristers are actually staying. Thank you.
Fantastic. These are some very, very, very valid manifestos. These are very valid things, certainly, which might as well be extremely beneficial for the barristers around the globe. Mr. Afan, if we can hear your mandate, please. Little
Yes,
bit
can
of
you hear
technical
me, sir?
glitch, but yes, it's all right. Thank you again.
It's because of the cell phone. Sorry.
It's all right. No problem. Please go ahead.
So, like I was saying earlier, the Lincoln's Inn has certain categories what to look into. That includes admission, scholarship, financing, investment. What's the point of these categories if we cannot utilize this? We have never seen Lincoln's Inn, so far to my knowledge, I've never seen Lincoln's Inn giving scholarship to any of the Bangladeshis, offering or investment or financing their honorable members. So if I get elected, I would say there are a lot of candidates, there are a lot of students in Bangladesh who actually gets the admission, or who actually been offered to practice to complete the bar, but due to financial crisis, a lot of candidates cannot actually come and complete their courses. I know a lot of students, even I have friends who actually could not go to the bar, could not complete the bar due to financial support. So if I am in that position, if I'm given that opportunity, I would definitely speak with the members of INS, with the committee, to ensure that people who cannot actually, although they are capable, cannot complete their course, cannot complete cannot become a barrister, to ensure that they provide a little finance, and students who have a lot of capabilities, they are being offered scholarship, and to ensure that none of the members who become members, none of the members are left behind, and they could actually go to the world and say, these inns are the best inns you could ever admit to. So my motto will be focusing on the admission process, scholarship, and financing investment for our students.
This is actually a very valid point, and on a personal note as well, as far as the scholarship is concerned, I remember 5 years ago, there was a requirement as to being a practicing barrister in the UK to be able to avail the scholarship. I believe those issues have been dealt with severely, and now it is open for everyone to be able to attend, and certainly some very crucial points to be able to cover up, and a a very interesting mandate, which will be particularly beneficial for a lot of us, if not everyone. Miss
Hopefully,
Azizi,
inshallah.
thank you, thank you. Miss Azizi, if we can go to you with your mandate.
Right, thank you. I actually have very limited goals because I wanted to keep it as practical as possible. I was hoping of creating teaching opportunities at the heart of Lincoln's Inn, and also helping Bangladeshi barristers achieve pupillage offers. And I have plans for that. I know it sounds quite unusual at first, but I have plans, and I think it can be worked on. If you allow me to share my screen. Sorry, I'm taking a moment to share my screen. Oh, I think it's disabled, is it? Okay, that's all right. I can explain it with words. The thing is, IN actually offers every year certain academic educational events, right? So in those events, they ask for teaching support. You may have also received email last month asking for volunteers. Now, the thing is, these teaching sessions are organized focusing on freshly graduated bar students who are actually barristers, but are at their pupillage stage. So what the IN asks for is that those who have already completed their bar and have already been called to the Bar of England and Wales, they request them to volunteer for teaching these freshly graduated barristers. Now, the thing is, this is a voluntary task, and they generally desire practicing barristers and retired judges from within English legal system. However, recently I tried emailing them, hoping if it could be availed for Bangladeshi barristers and as well. And the reply was actually quite positive. They replied back that yes, they can consider me for teaching, or anyone like me for teaching. However, I'll have to be present there physically. So I asked them if there was any online option available. And they replied that yes, there is, but the thing is, it's currently oversubscribed. So the two things I have learned from this email is that it is possible for us Bangladeshi barristers to go forward and teach freshly graduated English barristers there. And it is also possible to teach online if we cannot manage to go there physically. However, currently it is oversubscribed. Now, in order to avail this, there are two options. First one, the difficult one, is that we can wait for a vacancy and keep constantly emailing them asking for whether it is time to take another teaching support. Or the easier one is that we can have our very own representative, a member within the committee, who can contact the relevant person directly, the concerned person directly, and ask if it is possible to have at least one teaching staff from Bangladesh or from outside English legal system and allow that person to teach through online. So in that way, you wouldn't even have to spend on your visa, passport, living cost, or travel cost, and you will still be able to become a part of a larger teaching body. I think this is a prestigious option. Now, this was about a voluntary task. Now, some may be wondering, why would I go for a voluntary task? I would rather prefer paid tasks. So in order to become eligible enough to practice within England and Wales, we already know that we have to do our pupillage. So that's where my second goal comes in. The thing is, simply promising that I will try and convince the Lincoln's Inn to offer pupillage, to make pupillage offers to Bangladeshi barristers is not going to help, because you may already be aware that the minimum allowance for pupillage this year has even increased further. It has now become £18,960 for those who are doing pupillage within London, and those outside London are getting paid 16,600 something. So basically it's above 16,000 pounds per annum. So obviously it's pretty highly paid task when we're talking about pupillage. This is literally the minimum wages they are bound to pay, the minimum allowance. Some chambers even offer higher allowance. The thing is, when they're investing so much on their pupils, they obviously are going to keep rejecting us over and over and over again until they're very much sure that this person is worth spending the money on, right? If I may share one experience from my own academic life, while doing bar in Cardiff University, I remember on first attempt, only one student got the offer. And that student was an ex-graduate of Oxford University. He had already done a PhD from Oxford about his skills. So
if I may kindly ask you to shorten your answer a little, we have a few other points to cover as well. You'll get to answer those as well. So please carry on.
Right. I'm so sorry. So the point is that in order to be able to receive an offer, we have to have certain skills that right now we don't have. So what we can do is we can ask the inn to create a support system and help us, Bangladeshi barristers, develop those skills and help us prepare our applications in such a rich way so that we can at least receive a call for interview. At this point, I'd like to add that probably online support may also help. So if I do get elected, I would try and work on that and convince the inn to arrange such, make such arrangements so that Bangladeshi barristers or barristers from outside England and Wales could also work on their skills and manage to receive some pupillage offer.
Right, thank you very much. Now, I'd like to briefly, we'll be finishing shortly, but I'd like to briefly ask a few other questions to you. Now, going back to Mr. Afan, anything that you'd like to add, which is as to how how having someone of us being in the representation committee would actually help the Bangladeshi barristers, something that has not been covered yet so far.
How that would help the Bangladeshi barristers?
Yeah.
I think the categories that I've already covered, I have already covered most of my notes and also I don't really have much to add on to that. So if we are talking about the barristers who already passed,
for example, say take me for example. Take me for example. Someone after 5.
I think Lincoln would love to have you as their representative. You were very
no, not that. How would I? No. Thank you. It's just that how would the Bangladeshi barristers, someone practicing here, with no possibility of going or settling abroad, how would us, students or not, or someone after 5 years or 4 years, how will we benefit from having a representative from us in the Lincoln's Inn?
Maybe we could do something that is there are a lot of practicing barristers in Bangladesh who are not actually tied with Lincoln's Inn. So we can actually, like Mr. Morshed says, create a bridge where Lincoln's Inn would actually contact Bangladeshi barristers to look after matters in Asia or in Bangladesh personally, so that we don't have to, they don't really have to look for someone from there to handle their matters. So I think creating a bridge and convincing them, if you have issues, there are a lot of practicing barristers who pass from the inns, practicing in Bangladesh as a barrister. They could help you represent the Asia and represent your inns. So many practicing barristers who are still not connected properly with inns, by creating that bridge, as my fellow candidate, Mr. Morshed said, we could help a lot to the practicing barrister, also to the inns. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Mr. Morshed, if we can come back to you. Now, tell us the importance of representation. Now, I'm going to come at you with a funny note. Now, say someone, an aspiring student of the bar, is certainly not being able to get himself accustomed with the with the food of the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn. Now, certainly that has been a talking point over the years. Tell us the importance of representation per se, something that which has not already been covered so far. Tell us the importance of representation at that particular level, an institution that has been running since the 1200s, or yeah, something like that, if I'm not wrong, please.
I think we have covered most of the points, but I would like to add that as candidates of this election, when we are trying to get involved with the Bar Representation Committee, during this whole election, while I was doing my campaigning, I got introduced to a lot of barristers who I didn't know earlier. And I came to know a lot of them, had a lot of conversation with them. And the importance of representation, yesterday I was meeting Barrister Masudar Sobhan sir, and he was very happy that we are finding an interest to run as a candidate for the Bar Representation Committee. He said that the interest to represent in the Bar Representation Committee is a very good thing. If we have the opportunity to represent in the Bar Representation Committee, if I get the opportunity, because we already have Barrister Rifat Rahman in the Bar Representation Committee, and if more people like us got elected in the Bar Representation Committee, what we can do is we can voice up to get more facilities from the Lincoln's Inn to our countries in overseas.
Thank you, Ms. Azizi. This is my last question to you before coming at every one of you with one last question. Now, this might sound a little bit controversial. You can actually choose to give a safe answer as well. Now, hear me clearly. Do you think that a decent election or a decent campaign that we have been watching so far in terms of the Lincoln's Inn members as Lincoln's Inn Bar Representation Committee election in the last few years, do you think a good materialization of all these manifesto can be a good influencing factors in terms of the organizations here? And do you think that this particularly we look to Lincoln's Inn for a number of things, do you think that can be one of the added positive things that we can also accommodate and try to follow?
I think this is too early to answer that question. I mean, we only have one member from our country, and it's been only a few months since he's got elected. So we haven't actually got to see what we can actually accomplish, at least not by one member there. However, I'm hoping and I'm very positive that if we could have more members representing our interests there, then probably, yes, it could have a strong influence. The manifestos we have plans together probably could bring real difference, could make real difference.
Right, thank you.
Yes, it is just a hope, a plan for the future, and it is still left to be seen how much of it we can actually make come true.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for all the candidates. Now, before we are actually running a bit short of time, as much as I'd love to continue this, and I'd like to, before going with each of you with our last question for today, I'd like to thank every one of you to be able to join with us despite such busy and hectic schedule. Mr. Morshed is joining us from the chambers. Mr. Affan is joining us from a different continent. Ms. Azizi is joining us through the severe technical difficulties and surmounting all those difficulties. Now, thank you so very much. This certainly is a testament to your commitment to this particular election. And thank you so very much, Legal Voice Foundation, Lincoln's Inn Members Association of Bangladesh, our sponsors. And I will take this opportunity to thank the man behind Legal Voice Foundation and Lincoln's Inn Members Association, Barrister Ghazi Farhad Reza, who has been behind the scene for all this and who will not be joining us like the last time as a guest appearance, but thank you so very much. Now, this would be actually concluding part, and if you'd like to re-emphasize on the voting bits, do that. This would be a bit of a follow-up question at the end. Mr. Affan, if you'd like to add anything else at the end as your concluding remark for your prospective voters and vices on the group.
If I go back to your previous question that you actually asked, Ms. Atia, so true, we don't have much people in the ends to make the changes or to promise that, yes, we will make the changes. I remember one of my younger brother, he actually told me that it's not always about the ride, it's about the rider. Given we will be selected among the world to be the face in the committee, we will have to make sure we work together and ensure what we promised or what Mr. Rifat has promised is being enforced, is being taken away from Lincoln's Inn and given to all the barristers practicing overseas or all the new members who will be joining INS. So like I said, it's not about the right, it's about the rider. We have to make sure that we achieve what we want to achieve.
That's actually a very decent tagline. You could actually run for it next time in a different election.
Well, or maybe next time if we vote for you, if you'll be the candidate, we will do that for you.
I'll have to find a better one or a different one to the very least. This one deserves you only. Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Azizi, anything that you want to add?
Right. Firstly, Barrister Affan, I think I'm going to steal that tagline if I do not get elected this year and rerun for the election next year. Coming to the concluding point, the first male MD of a commercial bank of this country was appointed so long ago that we don't even remember the date, but the first female one just got appointed a few months ago. The point is that the gap between the male person to hold a post and the female person to hold that same position, at least within South Asia, seems to be getting longer and longer every year. So I was hoping that at least for this election, we could reduce that time gap to a reasonable amount of period, so that Bangladesh could have both male and female people, barristers, being represented at the Bar Representative Committee.
Right. Mr. Morshed.
In conclusion, I'd like to thank Barrister Onabil and Barrister Ghazi Farhad Reza Bhai for arranging this interview. And in the concluding part, I would like to request everyone to vote as early as possible because only few days left. The deadline of voting is on Wednesday, 10th of November at 4 p.m. UK time. So I'd request you to vote and vote as early as it is possible for you. And thank you, everyone. Thank you to other candidates for taking part in this interview.
Right. Thank you so very much, everyone. On a last note, please remember that you can vote for all three candidates that you have been seeing for the last 1 hour. This is your chance to have the best of both worlds, the best of all worlds, that is. This is your chance to choose Real Madrid and Barcelona. This is your chance to choose both Manchester City and Manchester United. So do vote for your candidates. Vote for all of them if possible, as you can. Remember that the voting closes at 10th of November, 4 p.m. UK time. Thank you so very much, everyone. Until next time, this is Barrister Faisal Mahmood Onabil signing off. Until next time, stay safe, stay nice, stay happy, and keep voting.
All the best.